Hi, I'm Greg. Welcome to the fourth and final for the month, December 2023 lesson for our almost Subway Surfers game. I'm Greg. This is Superhero Coding. I'm teaching one game a month, live stream, so you see everything. And if you want the code and the assets, go to superherocoding.com, get all the details there. Some of it's free, some of it's not, because that makes it more sustainable for me. So hopefully, but you're free to follow along with these lessons. They're not going anywhere. Superherocoding.com. For now, we're going to pick up where we left off last time. And today we're going to clean things up a little bit. So there's a lot of different things we could do. With only about 4 hours per game, there's only so much you can really do. There's a lot of stuff I want to do to this, and I might get to some extra lessons later on that the people who pay get extra stuff, clean this up a little more, and turn it into closer to a real game. But I think for now, I want to take what's there and polish it up a little bit. So if we look at the game itself, by going here, and make sure I still got audio. Yep. So this is where we left off last time. So we've got a game. It is a game. It's not bad. We can move around. We can jump. So that barrier is a little too low. That's a problem I'm going to fix. Right now, we can still move forward. We can still move off the grid and fall off. That's a problem I'm going to fix today. I think by jumping, I'm just going to make the barrier a little bit lower. I don't think we're going to have time to restrict, because right now you can still just jump as much as you'd like. There's some easy ways to fix that. It just depends on how far we get with everything. But I know I want to restrict the movement to not be back and not up and down, and not move off the sides, and so that when you jump on that, if you jump at the right time, you miss it. I think maybe if you hit the red thing, or, well, any of the red things, game over scene would also be good. Displaying a score would be good, but I'm probably not going to make all these things happen in the next 45 minutes to an hour. So with all that in mind, let's go ahead and start coding. So if you've watched these, you know I like to keep incremental saves, so we can kind of go back and see where we started, and we get different versions, different scenes. I like that. So I'm going to click the last one and Control D on a PC and Command D on a Mac, rename number 8 to number 9, double click on that, and then we are here. So it's duplicate of the last scene, and we'll start working from there. So let's see. I think let's work on the player movement first. Now, I could fix the jump by, if I just hit play and I watch. So we've got an is jumping field there that I could tag. I could make it to where I can avoid this just by cranking up the jump velocity a little bit. But I feel like the jump is pretty good right now. I don't hate it. So I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take that big red damage cube and make it, just move it down a little bit. Just that simple. Even like that. That way, if we do jump, we don't hit it. If we don't jump, we will hit it. That still works. So I like that. I'll probably need to put something on here that says we've damaged, or I guess the coins all have, coins are all set as a trigger, and they've got code on there as a coin to send points to the game manager. And I could manage most of the stuff that I want to do in most of an hour. I wasn't explaining everything as I went, but we'll see how far we can go. So the damage cube I like. I think it ought to have, probably ought to have like a game over message. All right, so I'm going to try to restrict player movement, show the score, and a game over message, and those will be done through the game manager. Let's do that. So we're going to start with, I'm going to create a new script called damage player. All right, double click that, open that up. All right. I'm gonna leave those for now. So I know we want on trigger enter. If other dot compare tag player, then debug log with player. And that could even, you could use a debug log warning or an error there to show a warning or message, but it's not really a good practice if it's not an actual warning. So I'm going to skip that. But I'm going to add that to the, all right, can't find it. Come on. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do a couple of minor things. Come over here, let it recompile. I ought to then be able to drag it over. Make sure there's no compile errors. All right, let's check our. Hey, we want to check build settings. We want to add the open scene. Preferences. Every once in a while, project settings. Every once in a while, this play mode option, having that checked and the other two unchecked, will come back to bite you because it doesn't reload everything like it should. Really rarely happens. But if things are not working like they should, or like you think they should, it's good to check that. All right. Boom, done. And then on the damage spheres, I want that, and I want to, I guess I'll leave it on for the moment because we're testing. So here I should say, no, did I not? That's tagged as player, that's there, it's not a trigger. That needs to be a trigger, and these three need to be set as triggers now. Bam, we hit the player. Great. All right, so we also need a reference to the game manager, just like the coin script, except there's not going to be tons and tons of these, so I'm just going to do, I'm going to put it in as a public. Why is it a public and not a serialized variable, Greg, you might ask? Well, I already covered that in great detail. Short version is, if you haven't watched the other videos, is that if you're a lone coder, especially if you're starting out, public variables, it doesn't matter. Public versus serialized, it's fine. It just is. So I've got those three in that. They're all looking for a game manager. I'm going to drag that game manager in there. So the game manager is going to need some extra stuff too. It's going to need a UI stuff. So now that we've got the red thing, all the red things hitting the players, and just wait for one of the spheres to pop up. Make sure it says we hit a player. We hit the player. Great. So that works. And yep, we hit the player. So you can always type over here to filter player. Yeah, lots of hitting the player happening. All right, so that's good. What we want to do is, I think I'm going to put the score, and I'm not going to do lives. Lives are slightly more complicated. Not really, but a little bit. Just going to put up a score and end of game, restart game that'll reload the scene, which is why we added it to the build settings. So to add a UI, you go to Game Object UI, and you just put in whatever it is that you want to start adding. So Text Mesh Pro, that's going to be our score. It's going to say, hey, you need to import the TMP Essentials. So click that so it's happy. It's good. Now we've got new text down at the beginning. That score space 0. I'm going to click this. Then I'm going to hold down Alt to also set the position and click that. Now I'm going to move that position over a little bit and down a little bit, something like that. That's good. I make the score bold. And now on the game manager, we're going to need a reference to this object. I'll call it txt score. A throwback to my Visual Basic days. And then we need to, if we're going to be using the TM Pro items and accessing them from code, we need to say using TM Pro. And now we want to make a public TMP text asset called txt score. This is unrelated to the name there. It's just coincidence, but that's just, I like to give them names that in some cases that reflect the kind of variable, so I know what that is. So now all we need to do here is inside of add to score, which keeps up with all the score, we're going to say txt score.text equals score colon space to be consistent with how we start the game, and current score dot to string, because current score is an integer, it needs to be converted to a string to display. Hop back over here. Let's try that. And now as I hit the coins, as we get, got to drag that in first. Now the game manager has a reference to the score. Now as I hit that, there's our score going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bop, 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 bop. Hey, we hit the player. We hit the player. So that's still filtering through. So what we don't really need anymore is this current score is this, current score is that. So I'm just going to put 2 slashes, comment out that whole line. Don't need that. So that's good to go. And now that we've got that there, now that we've got a canvas and a score in place, what we can do is we can add a game over screen. So I'm going to create a panel that will, so everything is white right there. We can make everything dark instead, change the alpha channel or the opacity, something more like that. Not quite all the way, but close. And I want to now add another, want to add text that says game over. And I'm going to click this. I'm going to hold down Alt. I'm going to click that to center it and also set the position. Set it like that, set it like that. That's just setting the alignment to be centered, and you can make it a little bit bigger. It's fine. So if you run into this, the area of the text box is not big enough. So click your object there, move over to your scene, hit F to find it, and then I'm gonna just move that up, bump that over a little bit, something like that. Looks good. So now it'll be centered and game over, and then we want to give them the opportunity to try again. So button here, and the button's going to say try again. And then again on the button, I'm going to click this. I'm going to hold down Alt, click that, and I can just drag that over here. Let's see, try again. So now we need a couple of things in the game manager. We need a reference to the game over panel. And the other thing that we're going to do, we're going to move the game over words as child of that panel and the button as child of that panel. So the whole panel contains everything. Game's over, bam, you get that. And probably going to want to also remove the player when the game is over. So I'm going to double click this. So let's make a reference to the public game object. Go player public game object. Game over panel. Yeah, that works. And we're going to need, so what we'll need to do, public void game over, or do game over. Do game over. That works. So I want to do geo player set active false. And I want to do geo game over panel set active true. And that's the equivalent of taking the player and clicking that whole thing off, and that'll turn it and any child objects off. And then I'm going to I'll take the game over panel and turn it on. So by default, player cube is on, game over panel is off. And then let's see. So we're going to call this from damage player. GM dot do game over. One and done. You hit it, you're dead. Just like the arcade games I grew up playing. One life per quarter. So that's easy enough. And we could put the score on top of this so that even when the game's over, they can read it. So the way campus items work, the closer they are to the bottom, this is basically the layer order. So if I grab the panel and drag it there, then the panel is now behind score. So let's do it like that. The last thing we need is we need a method in Game Manager to reload the scene. Public void reload scene. And it's scene manager. Let's add another using statement. Get the namespace using scene. It's uniengine.scene management. There we go. Scene manager dot load. No. Scene manager dot load scene 0. So let me show you what that does. So both of these have to be public so that we can call them from the other scripts. This one we call from the damage player script. This one we call from the button we're about to set up. So here on the button, I'm going to, the on-click list is empty. So I'm going to add a thing to the list. And move that up a little, make sure everybody can see it. And this is the game object that contains this function, the method that we want to call. Function game manager reload scene. And so what it says is load scene 0. Now if you don't, if you get an error when you type this in, you probably forgot to add that in. Same thing with this. If that using TM Pro line is not there, it doesn't know what this means. So we have to import that namespace to be able to access the things like the score. Anyway, this load scene 0 is we go to File and Build Settings, and we added the open scene. That number right there is scene 0. So that's what it's going to reload. If you have incremental scenes like I do, you will need to make sure that you update this when you change them. But I still like doing it this way. You can also load them by name. This is a simple way to do it. It's not always the best if you've got different, you might have a loading screen or a start screen or a game over screen or scene. And that could just be called your game over scene. And you load that by name each time because you've got multiple levels inside. So there's pros and cons. It's good to know both ways. All right, so game over player or GO player, the game object player. That's the player cube. GO as for game object, game over panel. That would be this. And then you can even just call it the game over panel. Doesn't matter, but clean is good. So that's all on there. And does the button have the reference to the right thing? Looks like it does. All right. So turn that off. If I did my job correctly, when I hit play, we'll have a score. When I hit the barrier, the game over screen will pop up. My cube will go away. And it will say, try again. And you click that, and it will reload this scene just like it is. So let's try it. So here, I'm going to jump out of the way. Missed that barely. Don't have a lot of points. I'm going to get some points. I'm going to get some points. I'm going to run into this. Hey, game over. Try again. Yes, try again. So there. I do that. I do this. I do that. To do the other. And we miss. Nope. Oh, I think it flipped too quick. Yeah. So game over. Try again. There you go. And bip. So yeah, what happened there a second ago is the cube disappeared right before I would have run into it. It'll be pretty rare. All right, so I like that. I don't like that you can jump forever. I don't like that you can move off the sides. But all in all, that is really not bad. I'd still like some kind of a cave or something up there. But, it's all right. All right. Pop in, check, see if we got anything. Don't. That's good. So, yeah, this is how it's going. I feel pretty good about this. Hopefully you feel pretty good about this. I'm already working on my plans for next month's game. Don't go anywhere. We're not done with this one. I think next month will be a Crossy Road game for January. I think that'll be good. So, all right. Digging back in. So let's tweak the players a little bit. Change move and jump. And move and jump is going to, we don't want them to move too far. If so what's good is we've got this X offset and we've got the current position. So what we do, we want to look at this and look at our player. And if our player is at X equals 2, we don't want them to go right anymore. If they're at X minus 2, we don't want them to go left anymore. So what we can do, so this is where we set the has moved. If, let's see, kerpos.x, and we could do like an absolute thing, but that's fine, is greater than 1, or kerpos.x is less than -1. So the two pipe symbols there is an and. If it's less than 1 or it's greater than -1, no, it's greater than 1, or it's less than -1, then has moved equals false. And as for W and S, just comment those things out entirely. So that will restrict them moving forward and backwards. Forwards and backwards? I don't know. Don't let them move. They're already at 2 or -2. They can still jump. We'll get back to that. So, all right. So that's got some code for is jumping. It's just not working right. We can work with that. So we're back in here. I'm going to turn off the grid. I'm going to turn off that damage cube right here at the beginning so that we're not going to hit it as soon as we start. All right. All right. My code is broke. All right. Let's see. So I didn't think that through. Our pause is guess what we want to do is we actually need to check this. We don't want to do that with both of them or we're going to get stuck like we are. So so this is probably if they're going left, if pause.x is less than or equal to -2. Yeah, it's tricky when you're dealing with floating point stuff. Let's do 1.99f. Not moving. And then move that up here. Not moving anymore this way. We are at the limit. So that should prevent us from moving too far to the left. Yep, can't move any further to the left, but we can still move around the other ways. So that's good. Can't move forward and backwards anymore. That's good. All right. So now we want to do the same thing over here. Curve pause x is bigger than that. Boom. Done. So it's easier to just do 1.99 or -1.99 because with floating points, curve pause x is never going to equal -2f because of the way floating point math's done. There's a math f, is approximately equal to function, but this is just easier. All right, so can't move too far that way, can't move too far that way. Otherwise, we're good to go. All right, so I like that. I want to jump. Let's see what's going on with the jump here. So it should be showing up that for in the air we are jumping. Try again. Get back to my player. So I'm just playing the game and I'm watching over here. -3, 9. So I could make it, if I triggered it so that you're jumping, I could make it so that you cannot move in the air, can't jump in the air. That would be interesting, but I don't think I'm going to do that today. So let's see here. Pause. Oh, that's not right. Because the curve pause y is like it's always going to be negative 394. So let's say if it's less than negative 3.9, then they can jump. Let's try that. Play, I'm jumping, I'm back, I'm up, I'm down. Yeah, I think that actually worked. So if I'm here, I can jump. Otherwise, I'm in the air. So that's good. Now I can jump. I can avoid those. I missed. Here, eating coins. Be fun to make a little sound in there. A lot of my games don't have sound because I'm not a sound designer. A lot of my games have cubes. That's okay though. If you get a fun game, if you have a fun concept that's something different, you can attract the right people to make sounds and make music and make, you know, the other stuff that your game needs. You can figure out if it's fun just like this with cubes and spheres and primitives. That part's not important. Finding an artist is easy. Hiring an artist is easy versus getting a fun gameplay loop and making it something that's fun to play. Is this fun to play? Yeah. Would I play it for hours every day? No. But you know, it's a start. These are not supposed to be masterpieces, you know, bestsellers. These are supposed to be simple games that we make and we finish in a few hours, so that you can make and finish in a few hours and know what you did and why you did it. That's why I'm making these tutorials. So I'm taking an hour out of my week every week to make these, to help people be able to bring ideas to life through making video games. So, that is not bad. Actually got a lot more done than I thought I would. So we've got a score. We've got a game over screen. We've got a reload game screen. We've got damage. You hit the barrier. You're done. What else do I want to put in here? I don't know. Guess I could put lives in here. You have 3 lives, and you all 3, and you're done. We could do the raised lanes, because it's not really like Subway Surfer yet. If we had a raised lane, so if I take one of these and then I raise the lane up by, or even if I just scale this thing up by, you know, something, and then we sort of jump onto it and fall off of it. So that's kind of interesting. It's a little harder to see. Here, I'm there, I'm up on top, I'm up, I'm over. Don't hate it. Still kind of hard to see though, because when this is raised, the others are the same color, so we might have to change the color of the side lanes or something like that. All right, let's do it. So I'm going to take the green. I'm going to do light green. Let's make that light green. Or actually, I guess what I need my lane color to be something different. So if I take this one, that on just the lane. for right and left. Then I want to take that color and just tweak it just a little bit. I just need it to look a little bit different. It could go a little bit lighter. Don't like that. Don't love it. Don't hate it. Don't like it a lot. Guess I could go a little bit darker. So the left lane and the right lane will always have that there. Let's try that. That. I'm just gonna typing that in there to filter, click, shift click, and then drag that over. So now the side lanes different, so that if a center lane is wider, let's pull up the right lane. Let's say all of them. That's what I did, and I just cranked up the width. But that's not really what I want either, though. This one. Let's do that. So this is the one that I was really having the trouble with before. Okay, that's not bad. I don't hate it. So what I could do, well, except if we're on the upper lane, then we are not able to jump. That complicates my life. I need to do like a ray cast to the ground. I can do all that. Okay, let's try this. Let's look. So the player is now minus 3, 4, 3. I could probably. So let's change the code. It's less than 3.3. So you can jump when you're on the ground or almost on the ground. And I think that change will let me jump when I'm on top of those. So now I can jump, I'm here, I'm up, I can still jump. I can't jump beyond that. I can still just jump once. I got a kind of a baby double jump thing there, but it's more likely to mess you up than not. So I like that pretty well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that and jump. That's not bad. Do like the yeah, that's that tricky one that shows up every once in a while. That's not bad. So what I think I'm going to do is, so you remember we have these floor holders that have some different options. So if I take the center lane and put it back to a width of 1, but then I make an alternate, and I call it raised. Now really I could do this with all 3 of them. Let's try this. All 3, duplicate, and I'm going to call that raised, that, raised, that, raised. Grab all of those, make that like 5. That works pretty well. And then I'm going to turn all those off by default. So the thing is, if we're looking at this lane, and this lane also has the raised thing, then it doesn't matter. The only, like, it doesn't matter that this one is still on or whatever. The only thing it affects is the coins. So I might need to actually have the coins be attached to the lanes themselves. All right, this is where we save. Turn those off for now. Save, duplicate, save, make our last one, scene 10. And double click that, look up here, double check, make sure I'm good. So the coins I want to be attached to each piece of the floor. So the coins are there. Those coins are attached to the left lane. All right, so we do that. And coins here are attached to the center lane. This might not work, but that's kind of the fun in just doing it, you know. Right, so those coins are attached to the right lane. So we're going to move those over to the right. And last floor piece. Those and attach those to the left. And then those. Okay, so I want an option that is left raised. See the flaw in my plan. The flaw is that if this is on, it's gonna, so if I do that, well, that jacks that up fiercely. So I can move those out and move it up. But I kind of have to move it up enough that you can't see the others. I don't know if that's going to be too much. And move these to be there and moved up. This could be terrible. Oh, we'll find out. All right. So let's try that. And then these coins don't matter. This doesn't matter. This one, optimally, I'd have something that chose between the two and turned one on and one off. Don't have that. Not going to have time to build that. For the moment, what I'm just going to do is I'm going to add the left lane raised as a possibility, and I'm actually going to put left lane in there as a possibility. So we'll see how this goes. The other thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to make this particular floor blue, so I know when I'm looking at the one that has the potential to be raised. So, all right, so here, left lane is up. It's good. I'm up, I'm there, I'm down. Yeah, okay, well that works. It's up, it's raised up. It's good, that seems to be working. Here it comes again. It's not raised up that time. Well, that's good. So pump this, I'm here, I'm up, I'm on the subway, I'm up down. Actually feel pretty good about that movement. Actually works pretty well. So with the blue, I guess the spheres don't, the spheres aren't perfect. That's okay though. Actually, I like that pretty well. It's not bad for the amount of time we're putting into it. So let's see, the other floors have just the standard green material. So I'm going to put that back on here. So that'll be fine. I like that pretty well. So what I can do, I could either duplicate, move, and all that. Or, so in this case, the center doesn't have any coins attached to it. There's that one. So they kind of should. This is supposed to be there. It's not. So I'm going to move that back to there, and take the right lane. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to do that. Scale of 6 on there. I'm going to take the coins and move over there, move up. So in this case, if the raised bar is there on the right side, there will be coins. If not, there won't. Works too. So I've got lane right, and I've got lane right raised because lane right raised because when you turn it on and off, the child objects come with it or don't. Like that, pretty good. I think I want to do the center lane like that once. So that's kind of what we had over here. Do that 6 just to be consistent. And then I think I'm going to take some coins and where's the rest of this? It's there. Here, there. Should be 0 and move up a little bit and that to be part of that, and then set that to occasionally turn that on. Yep. All right. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's try all that madness. And that's good, that's good, that's good. Turn that off by default. All right, so here is, we're getting coins, we're getting coins, we're getting coins. We go up, we get coins, we drop. We got land shark. Oh, here, there. I think it'd be interesting to keep it from moving while it's, oh, there you go, land shark. So what I might do, I might move the spheres, the damage spheres up just a little bit, just so that they show up a little bit more, like that. That's not bad. So that way you'll see them better. Like that pretty well. Like that pretty well. So, what else does it need? We've got a game loop, we've got a score, we've got a game manager. I think that was probably one of the ones that popped up, that pops up occasionally. The sphere starts like right there. I do it long enough, we'll see it. Yeah, the same one that disappears there will occasionally just start right there, I think. So we hit the player. And there's a thing you can do that is I'll just show. So if we say we hit the player, we can do other dot name, just hit the player, and then we can also do debug dot break. So what that, or actually pause. Pause. Debug dot, maybe it is break. I don't use it very often. Yeah, pause the editor. Perfect. All right, so let's do that because I want to find out where that one is because I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. I'm here occasionally, and one pops up in the middle that I'm not seeing because it only happens when it's in the middle. So when we run into that, okay, so debug break, we just paused. So where is the player? All right, so in that case, I hit that one. So yeah, so that can be useful. Now because I added something, I need to go back over here and add open scene, delete the old one because I added a scene, we moved up. Yeah, just or run into one so you can see what's happening here. Yep. And so it's paused, just like anything else, so I can still come back and turn that back on and go, oh yeah, okay, I see. And it also, well, I guess telling you player cube, that doesn't help. Because other is the name of the collider. So you would want to do GameObject.name. This GameObject with little g is the current game object. GameObject, just hit the player. And then you could name them, you know, whatever you wanted. All right. I actually think that's pretty good. I think that that's a good place to stop. So thanks for following along. Superherocoding.com to get the code and the assets. Some of it's free, some of it's not. Videos will always be free. I want people to learn. I'm doing these so that you can learn one simple game a month in a few hours. It's complete. Is it super fancy? No. But, you know, is there enough here or in any of these that you could take it and make something else with it? Absolutely. You know, there's all kinds of different things you could do with this to make it more interesting, but we're not going to today. So I'm Greg, the creator of Superhero Coding. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.